Tonight, I do not know what to talk. Anyway, I would like to repeat a very good advice given by the Buddha. Because he says, you must go on repeating almost every day. Then realizations also appear slowly, not at once. So when we learn something, we get the knowledge, but there is no realization, proper understanding. It will take long time for us to gain that realization. So knowledge itself doesn't serve the purpose, cannot change our way of life. Knowledge cannot change. When realization or proper understanding appeared, then we take things seriously to change our way of life, to reduce certain things, to increase certain things, adjust ourselves. This advice is for contemplation. Contemplation means meditation. Every day we have to contemplate. We have to think. We have to consider. Then, at the beginning, only theoretical we appreciate, but not through understanding. Later, according to certain circumstances, and when we think deeply, understandings appear. Understanding never takes place at once. I can give you two examples for that. Prince Siddhartha, when he was 29 years old, one day he went out. Then he has seen very old man, a sick man, a dead body, and a mendicant or religious man who has renounced the worldly life. Then started to think very deeply. After thinking, he came back. That day night he could not sleep. He went on thinking and analyzing. Now then the realizations appear in his mind. The nature of existence, the nature of life, the nature of problems, the nature of suffering, the nature of unhappiness, he realized. Before that, he might have seen hundreds and thousands of times so many old men, sick people, dead people, and mendicants. But that realizations never appeared because he did not take things seriously for consideration. Take another example. Newton. So one day when he was sitting under an apple tree, an apple dropped on his head. Then started to think, why this apple dropped here? Instead of going upward, why it came down? What is the cause of it? There must be a reason. Started to think and study. Finally, he found out the gravity. Before that, nobody knew about this, although gravity existed. He might have seen so many other fruits fallen down earlier, but never thought seriously why these fruits come down, fall down. So these two examples I have given you. The realizations appear one day. All our learning and listening, our knowledge, we keep in our mind. But proper understanding never appears. That is why changes never take place in our life. Changes means if we are very selfish, very cunning, very cruel, very greedy, and very unhealthy mental attitude always we maintain in our mind. But knowledge is wonderful. That knowledge cannot change because realization not yet appears. Not only ordinary lay people. Let us take even monks who renounce, who pretend that they have renounced worldly life. When you study, when you associate with them very closely, you will come to know. Many of them are very jealous, very greedy, very selfish, very cunning. But their knowledge is wonderful. They can chant, they can preach, they can meditate also. When you associate for sometimes very closely, you will come to know. On the other hand, there are some other monks who have not developed their Dhamma knowledge, but their discipline, their honesty and kindness, understanding, perfect. Because the realizations appeared earlier. So understanding and realization is the important thing. The teachings of the Buddha, when you analyze, there are three stages. Pariyatti, Patipatti, Pativeda. These are the three stages. Pariyatti, knowledge of the teachings of the Buddha. Tripitaka, the sutras, the sermons given by the Buddha. We try to understand. So we accumulate a wonderful knowledge. That is the first stage. But without this knowledge, if we are going to practice, we may adopt the wrong attitude. That is why knowledge is important. But that knowledge itself does not serve the purpose. Then we have to come to the second stage, Patipatti. Patipatti means practice. We have to practice what we have learned. What does it mean? In his teaching, you can see how he advised us to do certain things and not to do certain things. And that is called practice. Because he says, I am telling you, I am advising you to do certain things through my own experience, not as a message or theory or philosophy or religion. My own experience. I have seen the result. Again, I advise you not to do certain things. Because I have seen, experienced the bad effect. I have to face the consequences for the bad thing that I have done during many of my previous births. So this experience is more than enough. Not necessary to have any divine message, any message from heaven, our own experience. Then he says, you also can gain the same experience what I had. Then, by knowing this, our duty is try as much as possible within our capacity to avoid certain bad things. By doing bad things, we harm ourselves, at the same time we disturb others. Both ways. By doing good things, we support and help others, protect others, serve others, and we serve ourselves also. Both ways. Now this is called practice. The certain things for us to adapt, to adjust, to maintain as our principles, to do as our duties, religious duties. That is the second stage, Patipatti. The last stage is called Pativeda. Pativeda means a realization, understanding of the effect, the result. The happiness that we gain when we cultivate a religious way of life, harmless life, noble life, respectable life, that is a remarkable happiness which gives confidence in our life. That is called experience. Then we gain confidence, inspiration, hopes, to avoid disappointment, frustrations, worries, problems. Because we understood. Again, by performing meritorious deeds, that means by serving others, we do something to release their sufferings, their problems, their difficulties and fear and sicknesses. All these are meritorious deeds. We support sick people. When we come to know that they are healthy, they can walk, they can eat, they can talk, just because we have helped them. Can you imagine the nature of happiness we gain in our mind? That is called experience. Again, when you do certain bad things, when we disturb others, when we harm others, destroy others, things or life, we regret, we suffer. Throughout our life, that guilty concerns, feeling, disturb the mind. That is the negative side. So the experience that we gain by learning the Dhamma and practicing the Dhamma, and happiness in the end, if it is righteous way of life. The advice that I promise to repeat, I know very well you have heard this earlier, but still you have not recorded in your mind, you have not taken seriously into consideration, and I doubt whether you practice. this thing. So when you practice, then slowly realization, understanding appears in your mind. Through this understanding, you can avoid so many worries, disappointment, unhappiness, tension, fear that you maintain in your mind. Then you can go on developing and developing and developing. In the end, your mind will be free. Although today your minds are very heavy, so many problems, so many worries, so many disturbances, many things. But you can unload many of those problems and worries and disturbances if you really practice this advice given by the Buddha. This is called real meditation. Practical meditation, to experience or to gain good result immediately. There are 5 here. These are the words used by the Buddha. If you can remember these, then you can recite, just like this is a sutra, 5 lines there. Because if you use another language, you never concentrate seriously. Remember these sayings, then understand the meaning. The first item is Jara dhammomhi jarang anatitoti abhinnang paccavekkhitabbam. First line. Can you remember this? You know the meaning of this word jara, isn't it? What is the meaning of jara? Pali word? Jara means decay. Decay. Jara dhammomhi jarang anatitoti abhinnang. Abhinnang means always. Paccavekkhitabbam. Concentrate. Think. Recite. Meditate. What is that? I have not gone beyond jara, decay. My body is subject to this decay. Definitely, I am facing this almost every day. Decaying, 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 decaying. Concentrate. Meditate. Then what will happen? When this feeling is used to your mind, the fear you had in your mind, I will grow old and decay and very soon I become an old man or old lady, that fear is no more. No feeling. When you reach that age, your mind will be free from that fear, that feeling. You can laugh, saying, yes, I knew, I told. So one day that decay come to me here, because it is natural. Nobody in this world, in any part of the universe, not only in this world, is free. Oh, no one can escape from this decaying, decaying, decaying. The belief that some people maintain in the eyes of Buddhists actually just like small children's way of thinking, that we were created to live as eternal, everlasting human beings in this world without decaying, without getting old, without dying, without suffering from sicknesses, just because we have committed sins at the beginning, today decaying and suffering from sicknesses, and we have to face death. small children's language. Because the same thing you can see happening to all the other existing things. Plant life also face the same thing. Do you think that plant life also committed original sin? To decay, to die. This is natural. You have to learn this. That is why the Buddha has given this advice. Think earlier, when you are young, when you are very proud about your beauty, or your youth, your energy. Yes, I know I am very beautiful, very pretty, very handsome, but how long can I maintain this? Therefore I must realize, this is impermanent, this is changeable, decaying and decaying and decaying. Every minute, every second, changes take place. When noticeable changes appear, then we worry. Grey hair, wrinkles, and teeth shaking. Then we notice, getting old. But earlier never thought, as if that we never get old. So when we concentrate this every day, when you go to mirror to see your beauty, yes, enjoy your beauty first. Then the second thought, yes, although I am beautiful, I am pretty, but this is impermanent. This will decay. This will disappear one day. It is natural. Then the worries and fear you can reduce very easily. This is the meditation. This is the first advice. Second advice is Vyadhi dhammom vi vyadhing anatitoti abhinnang paccavekkitabba. Vyadhi, sickness. I have not gone beyond sicknesses. That means I am not free from any kind of sicknesses. Sicknesses may come at any time, because that is the nature of the formations of this physical body with these elements and energies. When imbalance, disagreement, clashes, conflicts take place inside, then sicknesses and pains and troubles and problems we have to face. This is natural. There is nobody who can stop it. Many people go and pray and worship and do all sort of things to get rid of their sicknesses. Yes, there are certain sicknesses we can avoid, we can get rid of by praying, worshipping, and developing faith and devotions and confidence, or reciting something, or listening to certain sutras or chanting. Certain sicknesses. What are those sicknesses? Sicknesses created by the mind. Our mind can create various kinds of sicknesses. When the mind is upset, disturbed, fear, tension, anxieties, suspicion, worries, create so many sicknesses. And these sicknesses can be cured. Faith healers and all those people who practice various kind of technique to cure sicknesses, these are the sicknesses that they can cure. But there are so many other sicknesses, organic disorders, difficult to cure without proper medications or surgery. By praying or worshipping or chanting, you cannot get rid of them. People may come and promise, but don't trust them. But many of our sicknesses we are facing most of them are created by our own mind. Your own experience. What sort of problem, physical problems you have to face? When you face get sudden shock or fear, immediate effects mind create on this thing. Besides this, the elements in our body, various kind of energies in our body combined together, how long can they maintain this structure? When we build a house, how long can this house last? The materials, the elements that we use to build that house slowly go on decaying. One day the whole house will collapse. Earlier we can see crack here and there, leakage here and there. And this body also exactly like that. So this is not molded or created by anybody. Combinations of all these things remain as a structure, as a form. So sicknesses are natural. So when sicknesses appear, we should not create disappointment, frustrations or fear. If you develop fear and suspicion or hatred in your mind toward your sickness, remember, you help to aggravate this sickness. The more you hate your sickness, the more the sickness also develops. This is the need, because the polluted mental energy disturbs the sickness also. This is another advice given by the Buddha. What is this advice? He says, when you are sick physically, please don't allow your mind to be sick. You can maintain a healthy mind although you are sick physically. By maintaining this healthy mind, very easily you can get rid of the sickness. You don't pollute the mind because of your sickness. You don't disturb others because of your sickness. You don't create troubles because of your sickness. Because you can understand sicknesses are natural. Such a holy, perfect, enlightened, harmless religious teacher like the Buddha had to suffer from 12 kinds of sicknesses. Why? You think he does not meditate? Yeah, he doesn't know how to control his mind. He did not hide anything. Explained to his disciples. Do you know why I am suffering from these sicknesses today? It is not exactly due to imbalance of the elements or energies. The bad effect of certain bad action he has done during not only one, during his previous birth. He had a severe headache. The physical body is not enlightened. Physical body is not perfect. Just like your dirty body and my dirty body and the Buddha's dirty body. Same. Body is body. No difference whatsoever. The Buddha means Buddhahood, enlightenment, supreme wisdom, purity, perfection, all the good qualities, not in the physical body. The Buddha means Buddhahood, enlightenment, supreme wisdom, purity, perfection, all the good qualities, not in the physical body. And then you can understand, if such great people, holy, enlightened, religious teachers also had to suffer from various sicknesses, what about us? And why do we cry and worry, go mad, when certain sicknesses appear? Or panic and run here and there like mad people. Why? Oh, I am suffering from this illness, as if that we never get sicknesses. So when we concentrate and meditate by reciting, thinking, concentrating on this, Vyadi dhammom vyading anatitoti abhinnang paccavekkita. I know I am not free from sicknesses at any time. Any kind of sicknesses may come. This is the nature. That is why we regard existence gives troubles and problems and pains and suffering. Without paying or without facing problems and worries and pains and suffering, no existence. If you want to exist in any part of the world, you also must prepare to face old age, sicknesses, and some other problems. Vyadi dhammom vyading anatitoti abhinnang paccavekkitappam. I am not free from sickness. Of course, he does not advise you to keep quiet when you suffer from sicknesses. You have to take medications and precautions and whatever you can do. But in the end, it will become a losing battle. One day we have to depart. Third one. Marana dhammom vi maranang anatitoti abhinnang paccavekkitabbam. What is marana? Death. Marana dhammom vi maranang anatitoti abhinnang, always. Paccavekkitabbam, concentrate. I have not gone beyond death. I am not free from death. Death is natural. When we throw a stone, that stone must drop. When you shoot an arrow or when you shoot a bullet, that one must drop somewhere. In the same way, when this life comes into existence, this runs just like an arrow or stone. This must drop. It is natural. When the fruits are there, the tree, when fully ripe, those fruits must drop. Never remains in the tree. If remains in the tree, get rotten. It is natural. What is the difficulty for us to consider? Concentrate. All these things are natural. So if life come into existence, that life, whether this life or that life, makes no difference, must face sicknesses, decay, and death. We take this as the most precious, most valuable thing in this world. We can destroy millions of others for our living, for our pleasure. This is the nature of craving we have. That is why we worry. It is not that we cannot understand. We know. But the craving, that which holds us, doesn't encourage us to face fact. Always keep in the dark. Why do we worry about it? If we know it is natural, if we know it is unavoidable, no one can escape. There is nobody in this universe who can live forever. Eternal life is a dream. Life cannot become eternal. Because of our craving, we maintain that belief. Why we don't like to die? Because we have so many things that we like. We develop attachment towards them. Our families, our husband and wife and children, property, and money and jewelry and enjoyment. When we think of them, we think how to die. Very difficult to die. And we think how nice if we can live forever. Small baby's language. How nice if we can live forever. There's no such thing. This is called Dhamma, the nature. Understanding of this Dhamma is called realizations of the nature of life. Then we can reduce so many things that we are maintaining, holding in our mind as worries, disturbances, disappointment, unhappiness, by thinking about old age, thinking about sicknesses, thinking about death. Take all these things as natural occurrences that no one can escape. Concentrate on. So if we can concentrate every day in this way, Marana dhammombi maranang anatitoti abhinnang paccavekkitappa. It is natural. I am not free from death. So one day, definitely, death, I had to face this death. Then the fear slowly disappears. Worries also disappear. When the time comes, when you come to know now, death is nearer to you, then you can say, come on my dear friend, I was waiting for you. I was waiting. Because no more fear. With cheerfulness, without worry, without crying, without disappointment, you can depart from this world. Death means depart from me. This is a journey. This is a rest house. We are resting here for a short period. We have to give up this house that we occupy. This is the house. We give up this house and again continue our journey. Then why do you worry about this? You want to carry this house also with you. So you do not know how to analyze this. If not, old clothing, rotten, smelly, dirty, throw away that. That is this body. Then you can have another nice dress. Of course it depends how you used. To gain another nice dress, you have to use this properly, otherwise you won't get it. The house also like that. Next one, fourth one. Sabbe me piyehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavoti abhinnang paccavekkitappa. Now this is more important. Next Friday I will ask all these 5 points. You have to remember. Otherwise no more talk. So what is the meaning of this word? Sabbe ime piyehi manapehi. All those things and living things that we like, that we develop our love and attachment. Vina bhava. One day we had to separate. One day we had to depart from them. Abhinnang paccavekkitappa. Always concentrate. Now this is a very difficult thing, very emotional. Now you like your wife, you like your husband, you like your lovely children, your brothers and sisters, your friends and relatives. Yes, that love, that affection is very important for our living. Gives confidence, inspiration, worldly happiness, confidence, worldly confidence, mutual understanding, cooperations. In worldly sense, this is very important. We must have that. Understanding, love, attachment between husband and wife, parents and children, brothers and sisters, friends and relatives. But, remember, but, if you develop this attachment foolishly, without analyzing, without considering, thinking that this attachment, this love, this affection is permanent, never change, then you are not wise. Before your death, while you are living, or within few years' time, changes can take place. Husband and wife, today they are very good, love each other, wonderful attachment. But after few years' time, you can see how they fight, how they quarrel, how they hate, how they create violence and bloodshed and separate. That is what the Buddha says. So you must remember, changes can take place. This is the uncertainty in our attachment and love, because whatever sugar-coated word we use, it is selfish love. It is selfish. You can understand this very well. Husband and wife. Husband expects something from wife, wife expects something from husband. It is selfish love, but important for married life. When one person neglects the duties and responsibilities, trouble starts. Selfishness is the cause. If you can develop this attachment without selfishness, you can avoid conflicts, clashes, violence, bloodshed and worries. But not so easy. Those who lead a worldly life, they develop more attachment, emotion and selfishness. Now you have to fulfill all your duties towards your children. You cannot neglect, thinking, why should we take so much of trouble? One day we have to separate and do this and that. No, you should not think in that way. You cannot neglect anything. Fulfill all your duties towards them. At the same time, you should not develop your attachment foolishly. Why? If anything happened to them, you go mad. You know how, you cannot understand how to control your emotion. You may commit suicide because of that attachment. You cannot tolerate. So develop your attachment, fulfill your duties with understanding. If anything happens, I must have courage to face it. I have mentioned this in my book, How to Live Without Fear and Worry. A doctor in Sri Lanka, once a week, he gives free medicine in his dispensary. He is a very devout Buddhist. So one day when he was working in the dispensary, when there were so many patients, somebody came and told him his younger son died suddenly, very young boy. Doctor's younger son died suddenly. Then what did he say? If he died, I cannot do anything now, because I am a doctor. But there are so many living people, patients here. I had to attend to them. After that I will go home. Can you understand what sort of attachment, understanding he has developed in his mind? That is what I am telling you. If anything happens, you must know how to maintain your normal way of mind without going mad, to panic, without running away. If any other person or another doctor, as soon as he gets this news, he run away and never come to dispensary for 1 week. He said, no, I will attend to all these patients, free. Then he went home. This is the way how to develop our attachment, fulfill our duties towards our children and brothers and sisters and parents also. We should not neglect anything. So this understanding. Definitely we have to separate from our properties. We know very well. Artha grihe nivrittante. A beautiful saying in Sanskrit language. Very meaningful. Artha grihe nivrittante. When we die, everything what we have collected during our lifetime remain behind. All our properties, land and houses and jewelries and money, we cannot carry anything with us. Although some primitive people believe that if they put something in the coffin, they can take to the next world like a small children. No one can take anything. We cannot take even this physical body also, nothing to take. So separation or the departure from all our beloved, or all our loved ones and belongings and property is natural. We have to separate. Then what will happen? Smasane mitra bandhava. Our friends and relatives follow us, follow the coffin up to graveyard or crematorium. Nobody wants to join with us. They come back. That departed person dead person went alone. And nobody wanted to join with. Everything what he has earned, working so hard, left behind. All his wife, husband, children, brothers, relatives, friends went up to graveyard and came back. He or she went alone. It is true. Then that person also did not go alone. Sukritang duskritang chaya. Whatever he or she has done during his or her lifetime, sukritang, done very well, duskritang, done badly. That means bad action and good action. Bad karma and good karma. These two things this person carries. In one hand, good karma. In another hand, bad karma. Now he is going, but does not know where to go. And this good karma and bad karma, definitely one part is heavy, either good karma or bad karma. Then this person will be landed somewhere according to the weight, heaviness of that karma, either good karma or bad karma. Either it become a human being or animals or spirit or devas or brahmas, depend on these karmas, our own karma. We cannot use another person's karma for that at that moment. Remember this. Prepare for that. Not to go with empty hand. Must carry something. Last one. Kammasakombi kamma dayado kamma yoni kamma bandhu kamma patisarano. Kammang satte vibhajati adidang hina panitata. Now this is kamma, karma. Karma is responsible for my life, my own karma, but not others. Whatever karma that I have accumulated, I have done. Karma is responsible. Pleasant and unpleasant experience we gain according to this karma. Nothing to do with God or devil. My own karmas are responsible for my pleasant life or unpleasant life. Another person is not responsible. And discriminations, differences, problems, trouble, or very favorable, pleasant, enjoyable life also take place due to my own karma. Kammang satte vibhajati. Vibhajati means divide into various groups as humans, animals, devil, ghosts or devas or brahmas or any forms of living being. This karma is responsible for that. Yadidam hina panitada, higher or lower experience. My own karma is responsible. Concentrate on this. Think. My own karma is responsible for my life, my fate, my destiny. Then we train our mind to avoid bad karma, to do some good karma. Now these are the 5 points. We have to concentrate very deeply. Then changes can take place in our life. Realizations appear in the mind. Fear and suspicions, also superstitious ideas also disappear from the mind. One day, we can depart from this world without fear, without worry, with hopes and confidence. Because we understood what this life is, how to make use of this life. without wasting. Please remember these 5 advices. What are these 5? I repeat. Jara dhammom vijarang anatitoti. I am not free from decay or old age. I have to face it. Vyadi dhammom vyading anatoti. I am not free from sicknesses. Anytime sicknesses may come to us. So I should not get alarmed, so create disturbances or worry, take necessary precautions. Some are curable, some are incurable. This is the nature of sicknesses. Marana dhammo mi maranang anatitoti. Death is natural. Definitely death will come to me. I have to face death. Death means, as I mentioned, ending of life process, mental process, and again beginning of another life. Ending of one life and beginning of another life. That is called death. So nothing to worry about that. Sabbe me pehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhava. One day separation or the departure definitely take place. All those things, that loved ones and the things that we have developed our attachments and love and inclination, it is natural. So we should not worry when such things take place. In the end, kammasa komi kammadayado kammayoni kammabandhu. Kamma is responsible for my life, nobody else. I am responsible for creating karma. Good and bad karmas created by me, not by others. So therefore, I must know how to make use of this life with understanding, without misleading, without misusing, without abusing. Then one day we can depart from this world with confidence and hopes, without fear. Thank you. Akasatta Bummata Devanaga Mahitika Punyam Tanganumuditva Chirang Rakkantu Lokasasanam Nitta Tachami Sambatang Punya Sampadang Sabdi Deva Anumodantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya Devo Vasatu Kalena Sassa Sampatti Tuche Pito Bhavatu Loko Che Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko Idango Nyati Ranghotu Sukhita Hontu Nyatayo Imina Punya Kammena Mami Bala Samagamu Satang Samagamu Hotu Vyavanibbana Pattiya